I've always been a big fan of racing games, and I've always been a big Nintendo 64 fan. Lucky for me, there was a pretty damn good selection of racing titles on the N64. And I wanted to make a video about some of my favorites here. So let's take a look at some games that really stand out for me for one reason or another. Beetle Adventure Racing is one of those games I bought on a whim not too long after it was released in 1999. Now, this game was developed by Paradigm Entertainment, the same people that created Pilotwings 64. As the title implies, this game features Volkswagen Beetles, and only Volkswagen Beetles. At first, this seems like an instant turnoff, but in reality, I think this game could feature the Barbie Mobile and still be pretty great. This is one of those smash-mouth, quick-paced arcade racers with nitro pickups and plenty of awesome shortcuts. And it handles like a dream, with the cars feeling really tight and responsive. I'm a really big fan of the creative level designs, and I can appreciate the long tracks, and the 64 pulls off the visuals pretty impressively. Unlike a lot of other N64 racers at the time, this game has incredible draw distance. The music and sound in general is pretty basic stuff for the console. And this is just the type of game I often forget about, then I see it while going through my games and instantly want to play it. It doesn't seem to lose its charm. If you have yet to play Beetle Adventure Racing and enjoy games like the Rush and Cruisin' series, I strongly recommend picking this game up. Ah, the memories of Wave Race 64. This was an early title, released only a few months after the N64's launch in late 1996. This game really showed off the console's capabilities, and I can still remember the first time I got my hands on this game. I'm still impressed by the overall feel of these jet skis bouncing across the waves. The levels are pretty basic, but definitely entertaining, and some a bit challenging. There's also 4 racers to choose from, each with different handling. You can also adjust your jet ski attributes if you're not content with the defaults. It just looks and plays so well, and with a great soundtrack tying it all together, it was quite the success. Now, as much as I've always enjoyed the racing tracks, I think as a kid I enjoyed the Dolphin Park practice area the most. It's a decent-sized open area surrounding an island where you can just cruise around practicing stunts and just enjoying the scenery. I used to spend hours on Wave Race 64, and it may not hold the same replay value it once did. It's still a great game. Super Mario Kart on the SNES was an instant classic, and I spent many hours with it as a child. I'm sad to admit that I didn't actually own the sequel, Mario Kart 64, until around 2003, but one of my best friends had it, and we played it religiously whenever I was at his house. Just like in the previous title, the difficulty settings remain as 50, 100, and 150cc with a bonus mirror setting. There are 4 cups including Mushroom, Flower, Star, and Special, and these each feature 4 unique tracks with some classics that were so good they reused them in later Mario Kart titles. Now, 6 of the 8 characters from the SNES version return here, but instead of Koopa Troopa and Donkey Kong Jr., we get Wario and Donkey Kong. I've always liked the graphics in this game. While most of the backgrounds were designed with 3D polygons, the racers and some of the other objects were designed as pre-rendered sprites. And these sprites actually hold up a bit better over 3D polygons, in my opinion. This game took everything the SNES version had and elevated upon it. And many people consider this probably the best Mario Kart ever made. I don't know if I would say that, but it's definitely a classic and a must-own for any N64 collection. After the success of Mario Kart 64, we got this little gem. Diddy Kong Racing was released in November of 1997. I got this game for Christmas 1997, and I got to open it on Christmas Eve. Needless to say, I played this game all the way into Christmas morning. And at the time, I hadn't really seen a racing game with so much depth, so I was just pretty much obsessed with this game. And what makes this game so unique is the fact that you're not just limited to go-karts. You can also select hovercrafts and planes depending on the level. There's also a weapon system similar to the one in Mario Kart. In Diddy Kong Racing, however, when picking up a balloon power-up, you can continue to power up that weapon by grabbing more balloons of the same color. For example, if I grab a red balloon, I get a rocket, but once I pick up a second, it becomes a homing rocket, and a third becomes an arsenal of 10 rockets. This was pretty cool actually because it rewarded you for playing smart and hanging on to your weapon. This game also features a large selection of levels with lots of different themes and a good amount of characters to choose from, including some well-known characters from Rare like Banjo and Conker. What gives this game so much depth is its amazing adventure mode. You're placed into a somewhat open world where you complete races to advance into the next world. Each world has a boss battle where you'll face off in a race against some kind of weird, goofy opponent. The battle mode has you running around collecting bananas while taking out any and everybody. This is a fun mode to the game, especially in multiplayer. The visuals are great as well. A little bit on the blocky side, but the great colorful worlds really come to life. Oh, and I love the music from this game. Some of it feels a little bit like the Donkey Kong country music, but I don't know, it's just fantastic. I love it. A sequel was talked about for the GameCube, but was canceled quite early in development. Overall, this is just an extremely well put together racer, and I just cannot get tired of it. In 2000, Rare was again involved in the development of a kart racer. This time the theme was Disney, Mickey Mouse to be exact. Mickey's Speedway USA takes Mickey and friends around the United States to race it out for the gold. Instead of an adventure mode like Diddy Kong Racing, this game features a system more like the one seen in Mario Kart with different cups, each containing 4 levels. The weapon system is also a lot like the one seen in Mario Kart, with stuff like slime to drop behind you and baseballs to launch and boosts and all that good stuff. My favorite part of the game is probably the level designs. They feel cartoony and kind of cheesy, but very well put together at the same time, especially some of the tracks that are based on big cities in the US. It handles a bit like Diddy Kong Racing, but feels a bit tighter. It's one of those pick up and play racers. There's not a whole lot of learning curve as far as handling goes. As you can see, the game looks pretty good for an N64 title, but it is a little bit of a late bloomer, so there's no excuse for it not to look good. The music is very bubbly and happy, very cartoony, and I guess it works. I mean, it is a Disney-themed game. Some of it can get annoying, but again, it's Disney. The character chatter, on the other hand, will probably drive you nuts. This game isn't as good as Diddy Kong Racing. I feel like it took a few steps back maybe. It's almost like it was just trying to be more like Mario Kart this time around, but it's definitely not a bad thing. It is a fun game, and in my opinion, one of the most underrated games on the Nintendo 64.